Hey guys, TharnType Season 2 Episode 7 has been released yesterday and that episode was the one I was waiting for to happen. Dr. Thitty is really annoying and the punch that Type thrown on him was a satisfaction to see. It's a reminder for us to always stand up for ourselves if we think we are being taken advantage. In this video, I'm going to tell you some events or scenes that we could look forward for next week's episode or for other future episodes. It's clear that the series does not follow the novel version in accordance to the flow of its scenes, but we are going to get the same amount of drama on both. Judging from the teaser for episode 8, the dark side of the novel has been unleashed and we should get ready for more dramatic scenes. Be reminded that this video is full of spoilers, and if you don't want to watch that, you can wait until next week's Friday and get back here to know the differences between the novel and the series. Anyway, if you live in a different country and somebody else's series are not available to yours, you can use ExpressVPN to watch those restricted series. Use the link on the description below to have 49% discount and 3 months free if you opt to avail the 12-month plan. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. The scene where Type punched his boss actually happened in both the series and the novel, but how it happened was different. In the novel, Type and Tharn already got into a fight because Tharn saw Fiat kiss Type in the hospital. Tharn was about to surprise Type that he already got back from his out-of-town work and went to the hospital to pick him up. Tharn also made something to eat for the two of them, although he does not know how to cook. He even called Type to ask on how to do it and the ingredients he needed. When he went to the hospital, he saw Type and Fiat went out from the main door of the establishment. Tharn already felt an anger within his body, but he calmed himself and said that the kid might just be a patient of Type. Although he tried to calm himself, his body was still shaking. After that, Fiat tricked Type that his legs was hurting, and when Type approached him, the kid suddenly kissed him. Type was shocked when that happened and was even more shocked when he saw Tharn was in front of him. Tharn was so much frustrated and his anger bursted out from his body. Tharn even asked Type if he was already doing that whenever he was out of town. The two of them were shouting on top of their lungs. A guard suddenly came over to the scene because of what was happening. On the following day, Dr. Thitty learned the incident and said to Type that he should be careful on his actions. His boss even mocked him and said that he was making the image of the hospital dirty because he was seen still wearing the uniform when the incident happened. Since Type was still not in a good shape after his biggest fight with Tharn, he punched the face off his boss. He even said to Teng that his boss deserved more than a single punch because of what he did on his life in the hospital. If I'm going to be honest, Type has really grown a lot since the first season. You might argue with me, but we already saw in the earlier episodes on how he tried to resist himself on punching his boss even though the latter was getting on his nerves. He might still be hot-headed, but it was toned down significantly. Type has a great character development on this season. But since Dr. Thitty went below the belt on his latest confrontation with Type, the latter could not hold back and unleash the beast inside of him. Well, that action was understandable knowing how evil his boss is. If it also happened to me, I might do the same as well. But that action of Type also has consequences, and that's not a little problem that Type could just shrug it off. Dr. Thitty has a lot of connections in the industry, and from that, he used it against Type and said to his colleagues not to accept him if Type would apply to their companies. That being said, the future of Type in sports medicine is now doomed. Also, another thing that Dr. Thitty would do after that incident was to file a case against Type on what he did to him. Type knew that information from Teng and Techno told it also to Tharn. In the novel, there were already a lot of what happened, including everything Fiat had done to them, but in the series, we are just getting started. Tharn would go to Dr. Thitty and make an arrangement with him in order to stop the case. Tharn also gave money to Type's boss just to save Type from being jailed. I already mentioned some scenes of Fiat and Type on my previous videos, but in this one, we are going to take what I think would be in the series. Since Tharn was not on Type's side at the moment, Fiat would take that as an advantage to make a move. In the novel, Fiat just knew that Type's boyfriend was not around when Type really got drunk because of too many problems. At that moment, Type was still an employee on the hospital. Type might have problems with his boss at that time, but it was still minor problems compared on what happened in the series. The major cause of Type's misery in the novel was because of his fight with Tharn and their issue whether they should get married or not. When Tharn went out of town, the two were already not in a good relationship and were barely talking with one another. Type did not call Tharn and Tharn did the same thing. In reality, they were just waiting for one another to initiate the first move. Based on the released trailer 2 months ago, there was a scene that Fiat was in bed with Type, although it was not confirmed yet, but chances are high. If that is true, then that's literally not in the novel because Type was actually saved by Jade when Fiat was about to take him home. Also, if that happens in the series, then that would make much more sense for Tharn to be mad at Type rather than Tharn in the novel, which even after knowing that Fiat tricked Type, he still let his anger on his body. Their fight in the novel was actually more of a misunderstanding rather than an actual infidelity of either of them. In the novel, on the same day when Tharn saw Fiat kiss Type, the latter actually thought that the two of them should talk and Type should explain that everything Tharn saw was just a misunderstanding. But when he returned home that night, he saw that the whole apartment was messy because of Tharn. Type tried to explain to Tharn, but the latter would not want to listen on what Type had said to him. Tharn still insisted that Type just let it slide because he also wanted it. Tharn and Type got another big fight on their apartment, and that was the moment that pushed for Type to stay away from Tharn for the meantime. Type went to Techno's house to stay for a bit, and from then, Type learned that Fiat was still messing with his boyfriend. Type asked for the help of Kenkler to know every information of Fiat. As for the plan of Type, he wanted to teach a lesson on Fiat and to intimidate him not to cause any more mess with his boyfriend. One night, Kenkler seduced Fiat in a bar and the two went on a hotel. On that place, Type carried out his plan of his revenge to the kid. Since Kenkler is not included in the series, I would think that they will not include this part of the novel, but they might go in another route, but the destination would be the same. The novel version also got no resolution on Fiat's character, but I'm certain that we would have that in the series. There are still a lot of scenes that would happen in the series before we could get to the climax. The episode 8 might be the start of the downfall of Tharn and Type's relationship, and we should get ready for it. The novel is full of angst and we are starting to get the glimpse of it in the series. I hope you are doing okay right now. Thank you for watching. That's it, and see you on the next one.